This episode is all about navigating the exit from your business.
Welcome to Business Innovators Radio, featuring industry influencers and trendsetters sharing proven strategies to help you build a better life right now.
Welcome to the program. I'm Mark Imperial. This is a special series all about growing your business and selling your business with maximum profits. Joining me on this segment is our esteemed guest expert, Sergio Decesare. Sergio is a best-selling author featured in the book Elite Business Leaders, an Amazon #1 book. He's also a certified profit and growth expert, certified value builder, profit acceleration expert, a certified business coach, and certified magnetic mind coach. And he's also a business broker in Florida. Sergio, welcome to the show.
Good morning, Mark. Pleasure as always.
Sergio, we're talking about navigating the exit from your business. So tell us, what is the biggest concern on business owners' mind when they're considering exiting?
Well, there's a couple things. First and foremost, what are they going to do next? But they tend to get to that decision long after they made the decision to sell. So up until that point, their biggest concern is, okay, how do I sell my business? How much can I get for it? And am I doing the right things now that are creating that value in the business as an asset?
Are there any sort of myths or misconceptions around the idea of exiting your business? Do they even think there's a process or a plan they have to put in place, or is it as easy as like selling a house?
Oh, I wish it was that easy. Well, the problem is there's a lot of misinformation on the internet. And I hear this almost every week. People come up to me and go, yeah, thinking about selling. I understand that, I take 3 times my gross revenue and that's what the business is worth. Nothing could be further from the truth. How you determine the value of the business is a number of different things. Hard assets. Each industry has its own multiple, which is based on net earnings, not gross earnings. Some businesses go by a percentage of the gross revenue, depending. There's a lot of misconception out there. And unfortunately, people go into this thinking, well, I did $1 million last year. And I get this all the time. People come to me and they go, I want to sell my business. I said, well, great. What do you think that business is worth? $1 million. Okay, tell me why you think it's worth $1 million. Well, we did $1 million last year. Okay, hang on a second. So what did you keep out of that $1 million? Right? What's your bottom line? What's your net profit? Oh, well, I recorded to the IRS that I made $50,000. Okay, now hang on a second. So you want me to sell your business for $1 million to somebody who's going to be taking home $50,000? Something's not right with that number. No one's going to buy that business no one's going to spend $1 million to make 50 grand.
So that's an interesting insight, and it's about the numbers that they're focusing on. So, speaking of the numbers, what's the important? Because a lot of times, business owners are running their businesses. They're trying not to show as much, maybe for tax reasons. So how do they prepare that in the tax aspect of selling and preparing their business to sell?
Well, I think most buyers go into the situation kind of knowing that if there's cash involved, it's not going to be recorded. So, it's not going to be told to the IRS, which is okay. Sometimes they keep a cash journal. But here's the thing. If you're 2 years out from selling your business or wanting to sell your business, I would highly recommend you pay your taxes and record the highest amount of revenue or profit available. That makes you look way better on paper than trying to figure out, well, here's a ledger with all the cash. Well, anybody can make that up. Right? You got to prepare. And unfortunately, when I talk to accountants, their job is to make sure their clients pay the least amount of taxes. But it's my job for my clients to get the most amount of money when they sell their business. So I need to work with the accountant who's going to say, yeah, okay, let's just pay the extra tax for 2 years. You're going to sell, you're going to cash out your asset. Let's just do what's necessary.
So that sounds like a really tricky balancing act that you have to sort of navigate through there.
Certainly is.
Speaking of buyers, now, how do you identify the right kind of buyers for a business? And really, do you keep it a secret? How do you navigate, getting your business to market?
Well, there is certain places you can put the business. The information of an owner and even the company name is always withheld. Privacy is of the utmost importance in selling a business. Every broker in the world knows that. We don't disclose anything. And when we do disclose it, it's after disclosures are signed. We see financial statements of a particular buyer. And also, I may want to say, hey, Mr. Buyer, have you ever owned a business like this? Are you totally prepared to do what's necessary for this business to function? Because if you don't have any experience in this particular business, and it might be, something a little more technical than just simply retail, you may want to reconsider that.
Now, Sergio, you're a man of many distinctions. Not only are you a business broker, but you have another distinction of exit planning advisor.
Mhm.
Tell me about how you came across with those two specific distinctions and what came first, the chicken or the egg?
Well, that's interesting because I was advising on exits long before I got the certification and long before I saw the certification even existed. It was an interesting thing. But now that you have a certification, now you're associated with a particular organization, they usually kind of give you some sort of structure. I particularly like what John Warlow has in his books and stuff about exiting. John Warlow is all about he writes books on how to build the business and build value into it. He's got a value builder program, which I'm certified in, and there is a pretty much 12-month minimum process where each month we focus on a particular item of the business. One month might be vendors. Okay, have you audited your vendors? Are you getting the best price? Is one vendor responsible for the bulk of your products? And we kind of look at that because at the end, business buyers want to buy a turnkey business. And the same thing, when it comes to the owner, my job is to pretty much get the owner out of the business a year or two before the business actually sells. Why is that? Because nobody wants to buy a business that's tied to one particular personality or owner. That's a big problem. And unfortunately, a lot of the business people I work with, they are the business in many cases.
Fascinating insight. Sergio, so for business owners listening that are considering selling their business, or maybe you've inspired them to think about that, a year or two down the road, if they'd like to connect with you and perhaps get your help, how can they find you, connect with you, get a business valuation potentially, and how can they learn more?
Well, first and foremost, if you have a business, why would you not at some point want to cash that asset out? Unfortunately, too many people come to me when the business is declining, or they come to me and, oh, my wife has cancer. I can't be there anymore. That's not the time to sell. You want a good year or two process to build that business up and get it to a point where you can get maximum value out of that business. I do paid valuations. That's the first place you want to start. What is your business worth today? Because if it's not where you think it is and you need to cash out or want to cash out at a higher valuation, we've got some work to do. You can send me an email at sergio@maxbusinessprofits.com. You can go to my website, which is maxbusinessprofits.com, naturally. Or you know what? The quickest way is text me or call me at area code 239-580-7408.
Sergio, this has been terrific. I appreciate you sharing with my audience, and I wish you continued success for you and for all of your clients.
Thanks so much, Mark.
That was Sergio Decesare. He's the founder and creator of the Max Business Profits Business Alchemy System. That's all for now. I'm Mark Imperial, and thanks for joining us.